Good morning, everybody. Mr. Kennedy here. Today, we're going to be learning how to draw Wally Nut from The Nuts Keep Rolling.
Alright, my friends. So to get started with our Wally, the first thing we're going to do right in the middle of our paper is we're going to start with a nice big circle. And again, don't worry about getting this circle nice and perfect because we are going to be changing some of it. We're going to be erasing the very top of our circle in a little bit. So don't worry about getting that circle perfect. Just try to make sure when you're drawing it that you're making your pencil lines nice and light so that when we do some erasing, it'll be a lot easier for you. So the next thing we're going to do is towards the top of our circle, we're going to make a frown line. So it's going to be a line that goes from one side to the other that's going to curve up. So it's kind of like the top half of our circle, but we're not going to draw it as curvy. It's going to be less of a curve. Just like that. But we want one line going from one side to the other, and we want it to curve, and we want it to curve up. Oops. All right, next I'm going to make we need to make Wally's hat. So to do that, we're gonna make two lines that come up from the side of this new line we made on our circle, and they're going to go above our circle, and we want them to meet kind of in the middle, right about where this dot is, floating way above our circle. So again, I'm gonna make a big curved line that's gonna come up and towards that circle. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's just connect them, just like that. And what we can do now is we can erase the top of our circle because we don't need it anymore. We just drew Wally's hat, and the top of his head should be underneath his hat, so we shouldn't see it. All right, so next, let's finish up the details on Wally's hat. So if we come back up towards the top of our hat, right about the middle, what we're going to do is we're going to make two new lines that are going to come down and they're going to curve. Kind of like these lines on the side, but they're going to stay inside of our hat. So if this is the middle, I can draw a line that's, again, going to curve down to the left. And I'm going to do one that's going to curve down to the right. Next, there's a little pinwheel on top of Wally's hat. So right above, it almost looks like a triangle here. Right above that, we're going to draw just a little, almost like a lowercase letter N, right on top of our hat. Next, we're going to draw two lines that are going to curve, or going to go up and away from it. So you'll see one line is going to the right, one line is going to go to the left. And I kind of curved the top of those lines. Because what I'm going to do is almost like I'm making an oval shape. I want to curve the end of that line. But now I'm just going to bring it back into my letter N. And I can do the same thing on the other side. I curve it around like I'm making an oval and bring it back into my letter N. And that's pretty much all we're going to do for Wally's hat. Next, let's work on Wally's face. So the biggest thing that we want to do first is Wally's eyes. Wally has two big eyes. So to do that, we're going to start with two circles, one on the left, one on the right. If you're thinking about where you want to put those circles, think about these two lines that we made in the middle of our hat. If I were to imagine this line coming down, I'd want to put the left eye underneath the left line. And the same thing with the right eye. The right eye should be underneath my right line. So again, I'm going to start with two large circles. Actually, I want them even bigger. Wally has very large eyes. That's a little better. Now again, I need to draw an eye on the right side. I want to make it about the same size. Next, Wally has two eyebrows, one above each eye, and they are both rectangles. Now when I draw my rectangles, I'm not going to draw them straight across. Instead, they're going to go diagonally. So I'm going to start with a line that's going, well, we'll start with the eyebrow on the right, but you'll notice my line isn't going straight, it's going up a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a little line going up from both ends of that line, and then I just connect them. And like that, we have a rectangle going up at an angle. Now let's do the same thing on the other side. The one thing to remember now is that our lines are going to be going in the opposite direction. So this one's going up and to the right instead. But again, we make two little lines going up at the end of that line, and then we can connect them. Next, let's do two more circles inside of these eyes, and that will be for Wally's pupils. So eventually, this circle that we're drawing now, we will color in black. All right, we're almost there. Let's give Wally a mouth. So I'm gonna draw my Wally smiling because I feel like he's almost always smiling. So to do that, I'm gonna first start with a large letter U. And you'll notice it's kind of going between both of my eyes. Now, what I wanna do is I wanna make a little hook line at the end of that letter U. And I'll do that at both ends. Now I'm going to draw another smaller letter U that will connect the end of these two lines. Let's even that out a little bit more. There we go. All right. Next, let's give Wally some arms and legs before we color him in. So let's start with the arm on the right. So to do that, we're going to first make a line come, well, you'll notice it's almost lining up with his eye. Wally's arms are pretty high up on his body. So I'm going to make a line on the right that's coming out and away from the body. And then I'll make it come up. Let's put a little bend in his arm, like he's waving. Now let's draw these same two exact lines, but right above it. So again, a line coming out and away from the body, and then coming up at an angle. Now, Wally only has 3 fingers, so to do that, I'm going to draw a little curve that's going away from the outside of my lines. I'm going to do that on the other side too. Now what I can do is I'm going to make a little loop, or a little, almost like a tiny letter N at the end of that little loop line I just made. And I can bring it back in towards the middle. And then I'm just going to do one more little letter N in the middle. And like that, we have Wally's right arm. Now let's do the same thing on the left side. So again, I'm kind of lining up with the middle of Wally's eyes. Let's make our line that comes out and away from him. But again, we're going in the opposite direction now, so now our line is going to the left. And again, we'll bring it up at an angle. Now again, we're going to draw these same 2 lines, but right above it. All right, now again, we have to give Wally 3 more fingers. So let's make a line that's going away from these 2 lines. Let's make a little letter, tiny letter N at the end of those lines. Let's bring them back down towards the middle. And again, one tiny letter N in the middle. All right, next, let's give Wally his legs. To do that, right underneath his right eye, I'm going to draw a line that's going to come down, and you'll notice it's curving just a little bit. At the bottom of this line, I'm going to come to the right, and I'm going to make a loop. And then almost like I'm making a lowercase letter B. But you'll notice I'm not connecting that loop back to my line. Instead, I'm just going to bring it back up and into the bottom of my Wally. Now let's do the same thing underneath the left eye. So again, we're going to draw a line that's going to come down, and it's okay if it curves a little bit. We'll make a loop, but this time the loop should go to the left. We're not going to connect it, and we're going to bring the top of that loop back into Wally's body. And like that, we have our basic Wally nut. Now we're ready to trace and color. You know what I forgot? This is a great opportunity to show that even teachers make mistakes. I totally forgot that Wally has a lot of hair underneath his hat. So I'm gonna do this with a pen to save time, but at home, please do this first in pencil and then trace with your pen. But Wally has quite a bit of hair at the top of his head. So to draw his hair, I'm going to make some small curvy rectangles coming out of the bottom of his hat. Now to do that, I'm going to start with just a line going down. I'll make a line coming over to the right of it, and then I'm just going to bring it up to the top. And now I'm going to do this all across Wally's whole hat, all the way across his head. Now, some of these rectangles might be longer than others, and that's okay. Not all of Wally's hair are the same length, just like ours, they are different lengths. So it's okay if some of them are kind of curving in different directions, or if some of them are longer than the others. That's okay. You kind of want that to happen. So have some fun with it. Curve your rectangles in different directions. Make some of them a little bit shorter than others. Make some of them much longer. And just make sure to fill up Wally's all of Wally's hat. Wally has a lot of hair. If you would like to pause the video here at home, you can to match the same colors, but you do not have to.
I hope you guys all had fun drawing Wally with me today. I hope you guys stay safe, you keep drawing, and I'll see you next time.